Jesse Jackson was a man of towering presence and relentless ambition, a figure who carved his name into the heart of America's long, often painful struggle for civil rights, a preacher whose sermons echoed from the pulpit to the protest line, a politician who shattered barriers, and an activist who refused to let the nation look away from its deepest inequities. When he passed away, it was not just the end of a life, but the closing of a significant chapter in the American story. Born in 1941 and leaving us in 2026, his life spanned an era of profound transformation, a period he shaped with his words, his actions, and his unyielding demand for justice. His journey proved the power of a single voice to mobilize millions. For more than half a century, he was an undeniable force. He stood on the balcony with Dr. King in Memphis, a moment seared into the national consciousness. He twice sought the highest office in the land, altering the landscape of presidential politics and giving a voice to the long marginalized. He championed the Rainbow Coalition: Black, white, Latino, Asian, Native American, poor, and working class, under a shared banner. Power came not just from the ballot box, but from the picket line, the boardroom, and the global stage. His passing prompted reflection on a leader both revered and criticized, a life of immense hope and at times controversy, a deeply human narrative of triumphs and flaws. Jesse Louis Jackson was born on October 8, 1941, in Greenville, South Carolina, where the lines of racial segregation were drawn as sharply as the town's borders. Born out of wedlock to Helen Burns and Noah Lewis Robinson, raised in poverty by his mother and stepfather, he faced stigma that fueled ambition. He endured daily humiliations of Jim Crow and the ever-present threat of violence. These struggles were the furnace that forged his conscience. A talented athlete and star quarterback, denied a fair chance because of race. That injustice lit a fire for change. He went to the University of Illinois on a football scholarship, then transferred to North Carolina A&T, where he led sit-ins in Greensboro. Faith anchored his activism. Exodus and redemption became living metaphors. He enrolled at the Chicago Theological Seminary in 1964. For him, the pulpit was a platform for social and political action. He blended saving souls with demanding justice. His distinctive style carried church cadences and rhyming couplets. His refrain, "I am somebody," declared dignity. That power drew Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His path led to King and the SCLC, the movement's epicenter. In 1965, he joined the Selma marches that transfixed the nation. King saw raw talent, ambition, and a gift for organizing. In 1966, Jackson was tapped to lead Operation Breadbasket in Chicago. He used boycotts and covenants to win jobs, bank investments, and deals. He fused music, prayer, and political strategy, and got results. Memphis, April 1968. The assassination thrust him into a relentless spotlight. Following King's death and SCLC frictions, Jackson struck out on his own. In 1971, he resigned and founded Operation Push, a continuation of Breadbasket with broader social and political aims. He leveraged consumer power to expand hiring, contracts, and investment, pressuring corporate giants to reflect the communities they served, winning jobs, supplier deals, and deposits into Black-owned banks. Campaigns channeled hundreds of millions into minority communities. He launched Push for Excellence, urging students to study nightly. He carried hope into classrooms and told youth to reject drugs and embrace discipline. Critics challenged transparency and long-term impact. Yet Push became a model for economic activism and a training ground. By the early 80s, he envisioned a broader, multiracial coalition. Different colors, one powerful whole, unifying those ignored by status quo politics. Register voters, educate communities, and hold power to account. Unexpected alliances formed a new American majority. The merged organization pressed on for housing, workers, and capital. In 1984, he mounted a serious bid for president. He called for city reinvestment, single-payer health care, and a nuclear freeze, and an end to U.S. support for oppressive regimes. He lost the nomination but won primaries and changed expectations. In 1988, a refined, broader campaign became a phenomenon. He won 11 contests, including Michigan over Michael Dukakis.
His convention address stands among the great speeches of the century.
He expanded the electorate and opened doors, paving a road to future victories. He moved the party, widened what was possible, and that legacy endures. Beyond domestic activism, he became an unofficial diplomat and crisis negotiator. He met world leaders, often without U.S. sanction, trusting moral authority to bridge divides. In 1984, he secured Goodman's release in Syria, a headline-making success. He returned a hero. He helped free captives across conflicts, including 3 U.S. soldiers in 1999. Critics saw grandstanding and risk to policy. He insisted it was about saving lives. He cast civil rights as global, opposing apartheid, advocating rights and debt relief. No honest account ignores the controversies that shadowed his career. An anti-Semitic slur report in 1984 did deep damage despite repeated apologies. Personal scandal forced a step back and fueled charges of hypocrisy. Questions about finances fed detractors and disillusioned some supporters. His charisma and media focus drew claims of ego and overshadowing others. To some, he was vital advocacy. To others, opportunistic grandstanding. Heroes of history are rarely perfect. He was brilliant and fallible. Diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2017, he kept showing up. His body slowed, his voice softened, but conviction burned. He fought voter suppression and was arrested in 2021 for the cause. He became an elder statesman and mentor, a living link to the movement. Jesse Jackson passed away on February 15, 2026 at 84. Tributes poured in. The president called him a giant of the civil rights movement. Services blended mourning with calls to action. Voices lifted to keep hope alive. His legacy is vast, complex, woven into the fabric of America. He expanded the political imagination, paving paths to future firsts. He leaves institutions still fighting for workers, literacy, and responsibility. His message lives in organizers, voters, and the young who claim their worth. In the end, his call was clear: keep hope alive, not as a wish, but a choice to keep fighting, keep organizing, keep believing.